Are you looking for a business consultant? With so many vast choices, how do you find the right fit for your needs? It's simple when you know what questions to ask. Today's local expert on business consulting will shed some light on locating the right fit that'll put your mind at ease in a snap.
And it's going to be called Rock the Boat, R-A-Q, the boat. So there's obviously I get called Rock or Rocky, and a lot of people spell it R-A-Q.
That's great.
And then I like that I kind of feel like I'm in a place in my life where I'm rocking the boat a little bit. And not only that's the boat, there's a lot of symbolism behind the boat with passage, journey, all those things. So it's like rock the boat, and I want to do the tagline in some kind of form of like creating waves through conversations with our youth, and like creating waves, the analogy with the boat, all of that, right? So I'm going to start doing that, and I already have a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 13-year-old lined up, and that's just in the last couple of days, me just talking to connections of mine who are like, oh, I'm sure I'll let my child do that, because remember, I was saying before, children are already on social media, they're already exploiting themselves out there through TikTok and Instagram, they're already used to Zoom because they're on it all day long because of school. And unfortunately, they're only interacting with the same adults, mostly their parents and just the teachers. And I think, people are forgetting that kids are really being affected by this in a way that we don't know how it's going to mentally, how it's going to turn out for them. And I just feel like we really need to focus more on our youth. And I love children, and I love talking to them, and I feel like a child myself. So it's going to be very unscripted, unfiltered, unedited. We can talk about whatever they want, but I want them to leave feeling really good about themselves, because it's so powerful when a kid feels good about themselves, what they can actually do and accomplish when they have that confidence. Because I'm sure as a kid, you can remember an adult or a teacher, someone that said something to you or believed in you in a way where you're like, that you just remember, and it just really affected and empowered you.
That happened last week for me, yeah.
Yeah?
I got to shave my beard. I feel like a kid already.
Yeah.
I got to ask you something because of your background. How many, or are you planning on to go on to podcasts with the Spanish-speaking population? Because I know you speak Spanish.
Yeah, luckily, I have most of my cousins in Mexico all have kids.
Right.
So I'm going to try to do it, and they all kind of see what I'm doing, because obviously Facebook and Instagram, it's very cute, because I actually have a couple second cousins that are on LinkedIn, and they had visited my mom in San Diego, and they're in Mexico, and it was funny because my mom's not really on social media, neither is my dad, so like my mom really has no clue what I do. I mean, I still kind of have to explain it to her. Right. So it was really sweet, because she called me one day, she's like, Raquel, she's like, your second cousins were here, and she named them. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm connected with them on LinkedIn. She goes, it is really funny, because one of them, he was telling me that you're like LinkedIn famous. He was saying, he's like, Tia Susana, like mi prima Raquel es como famosa on LinkedIn, like she's kind of a celebrity on there. And I thought it was hilarious, but like, it made her realize, like, oh crap, like I've got my nephew in Mexico, like following my daughter, knowing what she's doing. And so like, it kind of hit her in a way of like how powerful social media is. But when I found that out, I was like, that's so cool that my family in Mexico is connected with me and seeing what I'm doing. So I'm hoping that my cousins' kids, I can do conversations with them in Spanish, even though they all pretty much speak English, but I would do it in Spanish, because I think it would be great to connect with that.
That's my new hook on phonics. I'm going to learn Spanish through you.
There you go. Well, hey, I mean, a lot of people through soap opera Sesame Street, like a lot of people that I know from Mexico that came over, they learned English through soap operas. Like Selma Hayek, I think that's how she learned English, was watching soap operas.
Well, I'm going to learn that fact when you interview her.
Yes, there you go. Actually, my uncle knows her, so I have a connection. But,
okay.
But yeah, so that's what I want to do. Like and I'll figure out how to monetize it, hopefully at some point with like sponsors and so forth and all of that. But that's obviously not, I know it'll come around, but I've learned that I really have to do something that I'm extremely passionate about. And at this point with COVID and everything, you realize that life's short, and life is too short, and things can change in an instant. So why not just go for it?
Absolutely. Well said. My father used to always say this to me, and I was convinced that a famous person said it. So he's quoting somebody. But I've never heard somebody, oh, yeah, so-and-so said this. He used to say, you can be as successful as you ever wanted to be in this one life of yours, but you can't do it alone.
And that is so true.
Right? So when you're going for this, reach out to people like me, but others that you can, that you have networked in, and spread the word even faster. Spread your podcast even faster.
Yeah. And that's what I've been doing. Like I've learned that. Like before, I would never like to ask for help. I was very much like, it's a lot of pride, a lot of like, also I don't want to burden other people, and I don't want to be selfish, and so all this like negative talk, right? And now I've realized like, no, when people come to me, I help them, and I love that, and I actually am very humble but when people come to me. So I'm like, so why can't someone else feel that way when I come to them and ask them for help or collaborate or just all of that? And I've realized that it can go both ways.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what life is all about. I mean, your first conversation with me is hey, you were saying, who's this Larkin guy named Busi trying to sell me here? What?
Yeah, but
hey,
like,
buddy.
I appreciate, but that's what makes you good, right? Is that you're doing it in a way where, yes, I knew that you were trying to sell me a business or sell me your services, but you were doing it in a way where I also knew that you were genuine and that you really did want to get to know me. So there's a way to do it, folks, right? Yeah. Like, and there's
a right way and a wrong way.
Yes, and you were the perfect example. And there's other people that have done it in a really good way too, where they know that I could use their services, but at the same time, they understand the value of building a relationship and getting to know me. Yep. And that is what I appreciated about you, and that's why I gave you the time of day.
Right. I don't. Thank God you did.
Well, I mean, same thing with people giving me the time of day, right? Because, I mean, I was trying to kind of put myself out there in that way too, but at the same time, I didn't want anyone to think that that's what it was all about. Like, I really love people and love building relationships. Like, I truly do.
Well, I know one thing is that you've got to put that pie fight that you had with the doctor or the dentist office. You've got to put that on this reel, because that was epic.
You know what? I'll have to put that back up. I'll have to do like a Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, that was an instant classic.
Yeah, because that's the thing too, is that was pre-COVID, and I have gained a lot more of a following and a lot more connections that I've built like really good relationships with. That even that being 6-7 months ago, there's a lot of people that I haven't seen that. So I probably should kind of. I have to.
Right? Yeah.
That you know, you gotta have to repeat things as you go on, because a lot of people that follow you later after the fact, and don't see a lot of that. So that's something that I do have to be a little bit more conscious of. So thank you for reminding me.
Oh yeah, I mean, now you're going to see on LinkedIn and all the platforms me walking around in the summer doing little tips on my little jaunt around the neighborhood. Well, I'm recycling those.
Okay.
But here in New England, it's the winter, and they're going to see it's the hottest day of the year, and they're like, what?
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, people will think that's kind of funny too, right? It's like
where are you?
That's so funny.
Right.
Hey, but you know what? You could be in Australia, because in Australia it's summer when it's winter here. So you could be like...
Yes, good. Yeah, I know a buddy. He's a brother from another mother. He looks exactly like me. He's from Australia, so we're gonna get something going on as well. So.
Oh well, good.
My brother from down under.
There you go.
Brian Savick.
You're from another mother down under. There you go.
Hashtag. All right. Anything else you got to share with us? Because this has been phenomenal. And anything going forward, or?
No, I'm just going to be working on. So if anybody listening has a child that like they're open to having me have just a very a natural conversation, like reach out to me. I started my new hashtag Rock the Boat, so RAQ the boat, and I'm just kind of going from there and hoping that I make an impact with the kids, especially because I want kids to start going over to that channel. I'm sure it'll be kids and it'll be parents, because it'll be parents curious to hear about what other kids are thinking. So, yeah, I'm just really excited. Like, for the first time, I really feel like this is my calling. You know, where before it was kind of like, well, I got to make a living, and you hear the outside chatter. And yes, the reality is I do have to make a living, but I do believe that this could be something to where I will be able to actually survive off of it. In the meantime, I have family that's helping me out because they believe in me too, which is great. My dad really believes in what I'm doing, and so he's like, Raquel, you're fine. I know you're not lazy and just sitting on a couch and you're not like trying. He's like, I know that you work really hard. You're doing what you can. He goes, so I can help you. Let me help you. And I know in due time, it'll happen for you. And so to have that is great too. So I have faith. I have faith in what's happening, and I'm trusting the process, and I'm letting the universe guide me. And I'm sure some people are like, okay, that's so hokey, but then I'm hokey.
Right. It can be the universe, whatever you feel. It can be Jesus,
Yeah.
it can be God, whatever you feel.
And then I just said hokey, so shout out to my son who's a hokey at Virginia Tech. Who, speaking of which, came home yesterday and he wants Chick-fil-A, and so does my daughter. So
nicely
I have
done.
to go so I can go get Chick-fil-A for my kids.
Now, the one thing that you're going to say is
Yes.
thank you to somebody on staff, and what are they going to say to you?
What do you mean?
You're
Okay.
going to say thank you to somebody on staff.
They're going to say, it's my pleasure, ma'am. They're going to call me ma'am. I think they call you ma'am, too. Or no, they call me Raquel. I think, are you Raquel? And then maybe it's my pleasure, ma'am. You know what? I'm going to pay attention now when I go through the drive-thru, and I'll let you know exactly what
I'm
they
going to see that video post. Okay.
Recorded.
Raquel, it's such a pleasure talking to you.
Mike.
This is one of my my treasures as far as my webcast. I don't call it a podcast.
Yeah, I'm not calling my podcast it either. It's just a
I'm different that way.
Me too.
Dang it. All right, guys, that's another episode. Thank you very much for watching. And if you were listening or watching this in your mobile device, thanks for the ride. Done.
Pretty interesting, isn't it? Now you have some helpful hints and great tools to help you make the best decision. Ready to learn more? You can reach today's expert by calling the number on your screen. See you next time.